Don't put my weight on it.
Without the brace. How are you doing, Frank?
Pretty good. How you doing?
I'm doing okay. Just fine and dandy, as they say.
Yep, that's about it.
Fine and dandy, yeah. Oh, we got crowds started. Everybody signed in that needed to? Well, thank you for that. Okay, so even with us, thank you. How you doing?
What happened to your knee?
Oh, I ripped something in there. I don't know.
You did?
Yeah, I did.
She's just goofing off.
I want attention.
Maybe we can put a new knee in there for you.
Let's do that.
Okay.
Y'all
What-
get together on that.
Let me get my table saw
Yeah, get your table.
or chainsaw.
Yeah, a change, that'll work faster.
Yeah.
3 minutes.
All right. Yeah, I need a new knee now. No, I ripped the knee and the muscle somehow, and they've got to get back together. I can't put my body weight on it. Oh, I tell you, it's no fun.
You do any therapy?
Next month.
Next month.
I called the therapist, and she said, it doesn't have time for me till November. That's okay, I've got a busted out leg, and I'll just wait. Kids play baseball over there, and had a big mammoth area.
The longest discussion was with them.
I don't know. Over on Dixieland.
Discussing three of the items on the agenda. Discussing Simpsons. That one? Yeah, I already knew number 3.
Probably should have done this. September, but they quit hurting now. About 3 months.
It's the Concord. It's
July, but
City council meeting?
HDO is ours.
They have like a business leaders. Oh.
your brace.
Yeah, it's still not met code. It still needed a variance, but
They'll see me in the hall. We forgot to call you so-and-so, and I go, really? Well, I guess.
City place, he's on the city council, but not on the place.
yeah.
We're about to click over 8.
Well, I thought we had discussed it about the same as this year. Because that's the number I threw out to finance. I just kept it the same.
All right, the clock on the wall tells us it's 6 o'clock, so if you have your microphones on and pointed in the appropriate direction, if you please rise for the invocation followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, thank you for this evening. Thank you for the opportunity to come together and do the business of the city. I pray that you will give us clear heads tonight to make the best decisions for our community. Praise you and thank you in your Son's name. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All call, please.
James Walker. Hi, James. Darren Brock.
Here.
Tony Kostarowski.
Here.
Frank Musivnik.
Here.
Brian Clark.
Here.
Tim Cox.
Here.
And Chase
Here.
Hendricks. We have nobody absent. We have quorum.
All right, so this is our Board of Zoning Adjustments meeting. It'll be followed immediately by our Planning Commission meeting. But for the first meeting, we have the minutes of our previous Board of Zoning Adjustments from September 15th. So if there are no corrections needing made, I'll accept a motion to approve those as written.
So moved.
Second.
All right, we have a motion properly made. Roll call, please.
James Walker.
Yeah, I'm here again.
Yes or no?
Yes or no?
Yes.
Chase Hendricks.
Yes.
Okay, Tony Kostarowski.
Yes.
Frank Musivnik.
Yes.
Brian Clark.
Abstain?
Thank you. Tim Cox.
Yes.
And Darren Brock.
Yes.
Minutes of 9/15/2025 as written are approved.
All right, we have 3 items of new business on the Board of Zoning Adjustments this evening. The first one, starting with Dylan Massey for HTO. This is a public hearing, and it's a variance request. Come on up, give us your name, address, and tell us what you're asking for this evening.
Well, I am here for Dylan Massey because he just had a kid, a little baby boy.
Well, congratulations.
So we are here for 3 non-lit signs, 4 foot by 4 foot HTO at the property location of 300 West Monroe Avenue. Are there any questions about this?
First of all, what was your name again?
My name is Mitch Harriman.
Mitch Harriman, thank
Arkansas Sign and Banner. I apologize for that. I did not state that.
All right, so you're asking for a variance to allow additional signage on the building and
Correct.
3 4x4 signs.
Yes, sir.
All right, if you'd step back just a moment, this is a public hearing, so I need to open this up to the public to give comment.
And I will say these are non-lit.
Non-lit signs. Okay,
ACM, aluminum composite material panels.
all right, thank you very much. All right, we'll open up this public hearing here at 6:03. If anyone would like to speak either for or against the granting of this variance, we'd love to give you 2 minutes and hear your opinion on this. All right, seeing no one rushing the microphone, did we receive any comments at City Hall? Nope. All right, we'll close the public hearing. If you step back up, please, sir. I'll turn it over to our commissioners, our board members here. Questions?
I got a question. Has anybody been to an HTO?
I have not.
Yeah.
Looks like there's a lot of fruity drinks in addition to tea, I would assume.
The chain.
I'm just looking at the pictures, so.
It's a chain restaurant to me.
So in your application, it says the signs are situated on a uniquely contoured parcel with a significant elevation drop from the main roadway impacting line of sight visibility. But these signs are lower than the main sign, so I don't understand.
Correct. So, this being a national brand company, they have elevation specs for exactly what they want on their building. And it didn't meet the code requirements. It was additional signage. That's why we had to come to the variance meeting on this. Further, from what I understand, it's kind of an elevated position and there's some blockage of signage. Honestly, I'm not the perfect person to talk to about this, but I am here to represent.
I understand. So this location that you have these signs here, that is what's designated from their corporate office? Basically, this is where we want them, regardless of what the elevations are, I guess.
It's good to me.
And commissioners, for what it's worth, it's a little bit further west than that pinpoint where this exact location is, so there is significant elevation difference between Monroe and where this pad is.
Yeah, but again, I don't understand, the sign, these signs they're requesting are lower than the main sign, so how would you be able to see them better than the main sign? I think it's just, you know, part of their branding, so I don't think there's any specific, you know, issue with the property or the building or the location or anything like that, it's just part of their branding. Which, you know, I know we've granted variances for additional signs specifically for uniqueness, you know, of the property, the location, visibility and all that stuff. I don't see it here.
We have approved them, for Fitness One, Wendy's, Domino's. We have additional signage for those developments.
Those were more.
And there are others, I just have to look back in the record.
But are they for signage on a different side of the building than the main sign? Or are they just,
On Fitness One, there's 2 wall signs per side. Actually, there's 3 on the north and south.
okay.
It's their picture signs.
Yeah.
Kind of like, similar to this. Our sign code, it has aged pretty bad. It's not up to date with the state code, and it does need to be revised. Not saying that this is a particular item that will be revised when you guys do adopt a new code, but I could see the need for it because the description of a sign does state that a picture falls within that description. So that's why they had to come to you, because they wanted to put pictures on their building.
And there's no monument sign or anything, right? What they plan to do, or any pole sign or anything?
Looks like there is a monument sign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one's got the letters on it right here.
This is strictly for visibility.
Yeah.
There is a double-faced monument sign in this one. Where on the front it will show up.
Really, it's just because they're asking to have a sign.
Oh, just do one on Puppy Creek.
Let's sit. Let's sit back.
Our code allows a monument sign and a wall sign?
What's that?
Our code allows a monument sign as well as a wall sign at the
Yes,
same
that is
distance?
correct.
Yeah, we do allow a sign by the street and on the building.
I think it was determined that because they have their company logo sign above the entry door, that would meet our one sign per building face.
Right.
And because products are being advertised and their pictures that are not window decals, it would require them to come here for the additional variance for those signs. That was the reasoning for the variance.
Gotcha. Yeah, are those 2 windows that we see on that side, on the doors?
Those are 2 windows, yes. Each
Okay,
side of the
they're
door.
just not very large windows, like a lot of these fast food places have all the big, huge windows that they hang these type of signs in.
I
But
think
that's,
those are strictly there to let some light into the building because it's basically a drive-through.
right, they don't have
Down
like a
one
lobby.
side, turn right, they have a very small lobby.
Right, it's not really designed for a lot of groups to sit in there and eat, so
Unfortunately, I do not have specs on the actual building window sizes.
that's okay. Yeah, well, comparing them to the door, we get a good idea about it. You know,
Probably 3 by 8.
yeah, they're not huge.
Is this the same size building that they would build on a lot that was potentially a little larger?
Unfortunately, I'm not the builder, and I can't answer that question. I don't know how big the building specs should be for an HD unit.
The plans they submitted to the building division are basically the same size as the building that they built in, I believe, Centerton.
This is the same size as the one in Centerton?
I do know that is correct. We did the one in
Just
Centerton.
laid out different.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's just laid out sideways instead of being it running straight away from the main road, it's running parallel to the main road,
Yeah.
Gotcha.
which will allow them to put their entrance to the west, turn, make the turn, then come around the building and come back out onto Monroe.
All right, any other questions?
What elevation are we facing The elevation that will face the street?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
and the height, there's no reason for variance for the height of the signs. They didn't disqualify for their
Right.
size or their height off the ground or closeness to the ground. It was simply the fact that we were adding 3 additional signs to one face of the building.
Yeah.
Got you.
I mean, I certainly understand that our sign code needs updated. Personally would not have a problem with this type of request, but I don't know that according to state law, we're able to grant a variance like this. Because I don't know what there is that's unique about the property that would allow us to make that call.
What if I framed it and claimed it as art? Because essentially it doesn't have their brand on it, other than in the picture. If I put a frame around it and claimed it as art, would it be allowed in the variance for an art exemption?
Would art be allowed without a variance?
I think it would be still counted as a wall sign at that location. But now, given your code does say that wall signs have to be 200 foot or 20% of the building size, whichever is less. And I think both signs together would still not even qualify for that.
All the signs measured together don't equal 20% of the building. They're less than 20% of the building.
Which is what our code needs to say.
Correct.
All right. Ready for a motion?
If there's no other questions, I'll move to approve.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion properly made and second to approve the variance. Roll call, please.
Sivnik,
Yes.
Chase Hendricks,
Yes.
Brian Clark,
No.
James Walker,
Yes.
Tim Cox,
No.
Tony Kosarowski.
No.
We got 3 against 3. Darren Brock.
Yes.
We now have approval of the variance, and it is approved for Dylan Massey.
All right, thank you,
Congrats.
sir. All right, our second item of business, Don and Jared Marley. This is a Concord multifamily development. This is a public hearing for a variance also. All right, give us your name and address. Tell us what we're looking for.
Louis Topping with Practical, the project engineer. This is a setback, or variance request for the south setback, to reduce it from 7 to 3. Should I explain more now, or wait till?
Go ahead and give us a little bit more on why we need to be that close.
So these buildings are taller than 30 feet, so they require fire aerial apparatus access, which requires a drive aisle to be 26 feet wide, and then the building to be within 15 to 30 feet of that 26-foot drive aisle. And so with the road that we're installing, actually on the commercial set that you have already approved, that road is 28 feet, and then there's on-street parking, which is another 19 feet, and then a trail, which is another 10 feet. We need that building to be, sorry, within 3 feet of that back of sidewalk line in order to meet aerial apparatus access requirements.
It's not on.
Otherwise, we would have to revise the rear parking lot to meet the aerial apparatus access, which would require the fire truck to go all the way around the building. And it just adds additional impervious area that's not necessarily warranted.
Okay, and you said the trail actually runs along there as well? That connects to all the other trails?
It's not the main strip, it's a
Oh.
sidewalk that connects the commercial development to the trail that runs alongside Concord.
Okay, all right, that's what I was just getting clarified there. All right, if you give us just a moment, this is a public hearing as well. So anyone like to speak either, we'll open it up at 6:15, anyone like to speak either for or against the granting of this variance to allow a 3-foot setback rather than the 7? I would love to hear your thoughts. All right, seeing none. Any received at City Hall on this? Nope. All right, come right back up, please. Thank you. We'll close the public hearing. 6:16.
In that picture there, which side are we talking about? Top, bottom, right, left?
The bottom down
Bottom,
there.
gotcha,
Yeah, okay.
Ms.
It's
Stopping,
the yellow marking.
gotcha, thank you.
So it's rotated here. It's essentially the same setup on the north side, except the north side is a private drive, so the setback is just measured from a different point. So on the south side, the setback is measured from the right of way, which is the back sidewalk, which would push that building further away from the
Right.
sidewalk. The north one functions exactly the same, except the setback's just measured from a different spot.
Gotcha.
Ms. Topping, how wide was the trail in front of the building again?
I think it's 8 feet, so it's just a wider sidewalk to get, I believe that's right,
Should
but
be 12.
basically to get anyone who's walking from the commercial development around and over to the trail.
And then you said that if you were to move things so that the setback was met, then the access for the fire department would be complicated, correct?
Right, yeah, they would have, the access would then become the other side of the building, the north side of the building, and that way the fire truck would need to come all the way around the street, along this road, Bridgman, and then come back into the development, rather than just
Pulling right in and
pulling
accessing
in
right
and
there.
accessing the building from there.
So it appears our fire code is kind of pushing the need for this variance as it stands.
That's, on a state level, they're required to have it so that's the aerial apparatus for these buildings that are 30 feet or taller. They have to be able to get to at least one primary face, and the majority of it. So with the layout of that parking lot to the north side of it, they'd only be able to get to about 50 or 60%, which means they'd either have to shift the building or rework, as Ms. Topping led on to, additional asphalt in that area to give them the full apparatus access.
Seems to me we keep finding ourselves in positions where developers are coming in and telling us that our code is keeping them from doing what they would like to do. In order to do it, they would have to do things differently, and they ask for a variance because of that. I feel like our code is in place because we need a building code, and potentially it means you have one or two less units on this property, but I would think that there's a way to redesign the property to fit within our building code.
There is a way to redesign this that we can meet the code, but it's essentially less efficient for firefighting, and it adds more impervious area than is needed here, and the site will visually look the same, it's just a little less efficient for the firefighting activity, so.
I appreciate that, and unfortunately, we don't have the fire department here to speak to that, but as to whether it would make their jobs more difficult.
I need to add one more thing. We probably need to also consider the 10-foot landscape buffer requirement as well while we're looking at this. They're supposed to have a 10-foot landscape buffer on that south side as well, so.
So an additional
they would
variance is
need a
needed, is what we're
variance
saying?
for
So we would be varying that, both of those, essentially.
Not today. We would have to advertise the landscaping.
Right, but we would need to vary both of those in order for them to put a
So
building.
with a 7-foot setback that's already that they could meet, that still wouldn't meet a 10-foot landscape buffer.
Correct.
Correct.
So those seem to be in conflict of each other. If we allow you to build 7 feet, but you have to have 10 feet of landscaping.
One will supersede, the greater would supersede 7.
That's interesting.
Ms. Topping, what's that?
The landscape, the road doesn't remain from having to do that, since we're not directly next to an adjacent property, we're next.
No, all perimeter of any development has to have a 10-foot landscape buffer.
Is there anything on our code that's requiring this building to be positioned in the southeast as far as like a build-to zone? Or is it just setbacks for this property? I guess what I'm driving at is
It
there,
was designed that way to promote walkability and within the residential site and the commercial site and function with the trail.
okay. What's immediately to the west of that unit? That green space there?
It's a dog park and
Okay.
trash compactor.
Okay, thank you.
I also want to just go ahead and point out that we did lose developable area on this site because the master street plan shows the road on the south border of this to be split between Lowell and Rogers. So we're doing that on the majority of the site for the commercial development, but there's a property owner to the south here that didn't really want to have to go condemn right of way for, so we swung the road up and built the entirety of it on this property. So this would be a little bit easier to do if we had extra space that north-south as well. If we didn't do that, then we probably wouldn't have the connection wouldn't get made all the way from Dixieland over to Concord anytime, so.
I'm assuming you don't have drawings of what this would be if you implemented the fix that you propose?
No, we haven't drawn that up yet.
So let me, if you mind, just clarify with Mr. Kicklack back here. So we have before us a variance requesting the setback being changed. Now it's come to our attention that we would also need to vary the landscape requirements. Are we allowed to consider that, considering it was not advertised and promoted to the public that that request is being requested?
You want to have an application for landscape. It's different enough in character. You know, setback and landscape. Landscape is buffering. It can be what I'm trying to say, walls. You know, to change the site, the way you can see the property. So I think you have to do that. You want to make another application probably, and really that's to the benefit of the applicant, because last thing the applicant wants to do is get a variance, but it'd be subject to someone coming along and say, well, it was never noticed.
Right.
You know about that.
So we should not consider that this evening, then, gentlemen.
I can submit a new application for the landscape.
Okay, because that will need to be done. Just wanted to clarify that so we didn't step in somewhere we didn't want to be. All right, so this is consideration of the setback only, just for clarification there. At this point.
But to grant, for the building to be put there, we're gonna have to approve both of those.
It would kind of force the second one later, perhaps. It'd be hard to approve one without the other.
Does the sidewalk and on-street parking have to be within the city right away for this segment? And would that,
Typically, our sidewalks, we don't really have on-street parking currently, but typically the sidewalks are in right away.
Yes.
I'm just wondering if that were through a recreation easement and something along those lines, if that would help kind of solve the setback issue as well as the aerial apparatus access.
I haven't had any luck at getting a recreational easement in my experience. I don't know.
We can make that a condition of approval. I don't have a problem dedicating a recreation easement instead of right away.
I realize that's putting you on the
I think
spot,
we would
staff.
want it in right away.
What's that? I'm sorry.
If we're, I think the city's maintaining it, we want it in the right away.
Fair enough.
All right, other thoughts?
So if I understood correctly, you said that part of the design is to allow for foot traffic from along the trail to access the building, as opposed to it being set back and then having parking spaces there or whatever, correct?
Right, in general, when buildings are closer to the trail, it makes the trail more active and it just promotes more walkability between all of the uses of the building. So that's why the buildings are designed to be up, they're all, adjacent to sidewalks rather than have the parking, the private parking lot be in the front, so that we can promote walkability between the development as a whole. But then that's kind of what puts us into we want to use the street that we're already having to build as aerial apparatus access so that we're not having to build extra impervious area that's just going to add to more runoff and everything like that.
So the other option is to move the building further into the lot to gain the access, the setback that's needed.
It would be moving the building further into the lot to meet the 7-foot setback requirement, and then making the asphalt within the development wider so that we can meet the aerial apparatus access requirements. So, functionally that doesn't change a lot on the site. The only thing it really changes is the route that the fire department is going to have to take to get to the aerial apparatus access point. And then it's just extra.
So one suggestion is to, and this is just coming from me, is to table this, submit the application for the green space, right? And request fire department to be present, so that what Brian suggested or asked could be answered, addressed by the fire department at that time. Because if that was a legitimate concern of the fire department, that would aid in the reasonability of requesting this. I don't know. As opposed to risking a denial and then you're forced to make that change. Right?
And that's an option we could do, is table this until the second variance.
I think that the applicant would pull.
They could withdraw, or we could table it. It could work either way.
I don't know.
But if they withdraw, are they required to do all that filing again to bring it back, or is it just? Okay. They're discussing options. Go ahead and discuss options there.
Or did I just open up a can of worms?
No, I'm sorry.
Ask that question again.
Discussion. Well, what was the question?
So, is it reasonable for the applicant to either withdraw right now, or for us to table the discussion and the voting until the applicant submits the application for the green space and requests the fire department to be present so that we can ask the questions about the feasibility and the risk of moving the building and making the fire department go end around?
That's what we were just discussing with Seth, since he's retired fire.
Well, I'm the one that they're gonna come ask when they come
Okay.
ask those questions. I'm the only one left here that has those credentials, so.
Gotcha.
Even though I'm not the fire, but they're
What's
gonna
the
ask
answer?
me. My primary concern, really is that they have one side of the building, minimum, that they can access with that aerial.
And it doesn't matter how you have to get to that one side of the building?
Technically, no. However, when you look at the way parking, and it's pretty hard looking at it that small, when you look at the way on-street parking is set up and the way other things are set up, we have a 75-foot aerial, so we have to be able to get within a certain distance to get on that roof. So if we start moving into the inside where we know more people will be parking, now we're blocking the only exit that they have to get out from, trying to reach an aerial over up onto the roof of that building, everybody that's parked in the front can't get out. If we've got on-street parking on the east side of the property, we have the same issue trying to reach on top. So what they're simply saying is that if we move the building farther to the north, is how I interpret it, they're saying, now what do? We've lost parking spots, we've lost parking places, now we've got all kinds of other variances that we may have to ask for. And did that gain us access to the building? It may not. You move that building farther to the north and have to shift all that parking around, even though the fire department's gotta go around the building to get there with the ladder truck, that may not necessarily actually gain us access from that side if the parking lot's smaller. Because we need 26 feet to open up those legs on that fire truck.
Yeah.
So, in order to be able to put the aerial off the side. So no matter where you put it,
Right.
that's what's required so that they can reach up onto that roof.
So in theory, if on the north side of that building, if if all those parking spots were taken, God forbid a fire broke out,
Okay, so my question would be, from the back of the cars,
Right.
how far am I from the building?
and do you have 26 feet from the back of the cars available to set your apparatus?
Don't know.
Right. And that's what you
Those
need.
numbers are not in there.
Right.
Right now, if they're on the backside, it's for.
The backside we would have because of the width of the road, on the south side.
The south side, we have it now. On the
Right,
north
but on
side,
the
we
north
don't have
side,
it
we
now.
don't have it
We
right
would
now.
have to redesign the site to make
Right.
that happen.
Correct.
If the variance is denied.
Ms. Topping, how wide is that drive aisle on the north side?
I believe it's 20 feet
So
right now.
standard drive aisle then?
Right, we would have to redesign.
So that's to the point Ms. Topping was making earlier, that's 6 additional feet of impervious pavement that's gonna be required on at least that portion of the site, whereas the road is required to be 28. That's additional runoff, bigger ponds, things like that have to be considered with this as well.
If I can put this into perspective, though, I think we get ourselves locked into this mindset that the only solution is moving it to the inside, when if the building that's currently on the bottom left, that is not the building we're talking about, were not there, or were 10 feet less in width, then that entire building moves to the proper setback, and we don't need a variance. So I understand the intent of the application, but at the same time, if you develop the property within the limits that are given, there are ways to certainly do that. I think we're putting it on ourselves that we're making it more difficult potentially for fire access, when that's not the case. We're trying to fit too much on the lot.
In this case, even if the building was 10 feet thinner, because it's greater than, it's greater than 30 feet, I would still have to ask for the same variance.
No, I'm sorry, I guess I mean this building, we're either gone or we're half the size that it is, and this all shifts this way, there's no longer a setback.
Yeah, and it just, at that point, would become.
Potentially becomes economically infeasible, right?
We have green space between the buildings, if I'm looking at that drawing correctly. So what is the minimum difference?
But that, yeah, that's a whole different building design, and,
Right, yeah,
different project.
certainly.
Because I don't see any green space between the sidewalk and the parking lot.
And I know this is not what we're considering tonight, but I would also just raise the question, is that a residence that is to the south that is potentially, if we approve this and the no landscape buffer, is that a residence that's going to be up against this property without a landscape buffer?
There is a single-family residence there, yes.
But this building is already 66 feet away from their property line,
Okay.
or 60, it would be 69 feet with the variance.
Yeah, there's gonna be a road
Because there's a road in
There's
between.
a
All
road
right,
and street trees and everything that we're
Yeah.
already installing.
perfect, thank you.
And I probably should know this. What is the current intent for these buildings? What are these?
Multifamily apartments.
Gotcha.
And they came in with the same package as the Dick's Sporting Goods
Mhm.
for the overall development, but this is just a detailed construction plan portion of that project. So they work in conjunction with each other and are the same deal.
The thing that's come to my mind is what's the intent behind a setback? When you're particularly next to a roadway. Ideally, in my mind, setbacks are to protect neighbors from building too close and encroaching on their area. This is an area that we're providing parking, they're providing additional right-of-way. To me, that does constitute a hardship and seems a reasonable request in my mind. We've already discussed that the landscape will have to be tackled as another day, but in my mind, I can see this as a reasonable request.
Okay,
And this building being moved this way more, or let's say this building being here, does that present any type of visibility issue coming? What would this would be going south on Concord?
Yeah, that's Concord.
Yeah, south on Concord to make, because this is now the new road, correct?
Right, yeah, we designed the intersection with the ASHTO side triangles in mind.
Gotcha,
So
okay. Yeah,
How many, just question, how many feet do you have between the building on the far south and the first building on the east side of that lot currently?
I would say about, I don't know, 60 or 40 to 60.
Okay. And how tall are the buildings to the peak?
32.
Okay. So as long as you've got 30 feet between the buildings, you meet fire code for that height of the building, as long as you maintain 30 feet between them. But they're gonna be sprinkled anyway, so we can actually technically reduce that, but, because these are gonna be sprinkled, they're apartments. So that can reduce the distance between the buildings.
Okay.
And the outside of the buildings are gonna be brick
Yes.
or hardyback, some type of fire-resistive material?
Yes. The green that's in between those buildings is a recreational area site.
Okay. So that's what you'd be losing a little bit of, is that recreational area, if you slid that a little
Right,
bit?
yeah.
And then messing up the parking design.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
all right, other comments, other questions? Are we considering this, or did we want to table it to have the adjoining other landscape request?
Does the applicant have a preference on that?
I think I would like to have a vote on it so we can know how we need to.
Okay.
If we need to redesign, understand that we might need to do other landscape, I
Okay.
might need to redesign based on that as well, but if the setback is,
Okay,
Move that
All
we
right, the
approve
applicant
the variance.
I'll second.
all right, with a recommended to go ahead and proceed with the applicant, we have a motion properly made and seconded to approve the variance. Roll call, please.
Frank Mustivnik,
Abstain.
Chase Hendricks,
Yes.
Brian Clark,
No.
James Walker,
Yes.
Tim Cox,
No.
Tony Kosarowski,
no.
Darren Brock.
Yes.
Well, 1, 2, 3, I'd say it's failed.
Okay, so we had a 3-3 with an abstain, so that does not pass.
Not approved,
All right.
sorry.
Sorry.
All right, our last item of business for the Board of Zoning Adjustments is another public hearing for Mr. Sparky and at 123 Grant Place. If you can come up, let us know what you're looking for, and give us your name and address.
What's your name again, please? I didn't hear your name.
Rick Herrick.
Thank you, Rick.
We're requesting a variance to add extra 4 additional trees to offset the green space for that property.
Okay, and where are we looking to vary the landscaping requirements not to have to install that?
Looking to add the trees to the back of the property.
Okay, in exchange for what? For not putting what?
Sorry, sidewalk was added to the back of the property to, one, offset the height there will be no slide on the back property, and then two, to add concrete space to put the AC condenser building.
Okay, and looking to add additional trees to help make up for what you're going to lose. All right, if you can step back for just a moment, let me have a public hearing on this. 6:41, we'll open up a public hearing, looking to grant a variance on the landscape requirement, adding additional trees to replace what they're having to give up. If anyone would like to speak for or against the granting this variance, we'd love to hear your opinions. Come on up and give us your thoughts. All right, anything received at City Hall on this? All right, 6:42, we'll close it. Right back up, please, sir. I'll open up to the board.
So they've added a sidewalk as well, and not just mechanical equipment. It was determined, I guess I'm seeing it now in the previous plan, but the trees that were shown there are too close to the sidewalk to be feasible.
There was an elevation difference as well on the back of that. On the initial prints, they were just basically stoops for the back doors.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you very well.
On the original prints, they were just stoops for the back doors. There's also an elevation difference, so we have to move those trees up in the property line to not be able to not put those on such a steep incline.
So the adjoining property is considerably different elevation than your property,
Yes.
okay?
But there's parking there, right?
There is parking. We have to have the additional trees in the non-grass. Or around the above ground detention pond.
I guess what I'm asking, I apologize, is that it looks like the trees that we're losing are those that are directly adjacent, or not losing, but moving, are those that would have been directly adjacent to the building, between the building and the parking? Is that correct?
The parking to the south you're seeing is on the adjacent parcel. Their property line is basically the edge of that.
Okay, thank you very much, Commissioner. Appreciate that. So this is not the parking for this property, it's for an adjacent property.
Yeah, this is right here. But confused here.
So here's where I'm confused. So this is what was previously approved,
Yes.
right? And this is what you're proposing. And I'm sorry, you're adding more trees.
Yes.
So what's the variance for? I'm missing the request.
My civil engineer actually put in the documentation for the meeting tonight, Louis 10, but from what I understand, what she submitted was to be able to add the trees in lieu of losing the green space that we have on the back of the building.
Not having a landscape.
You're losing the landscape buffer.
On the south side.
So those trees that were there,
Oh, because this is now
Yeah.
a sidewalk.
So the perimeter trees that were once there are getting relocated. I don't think she's adding any more additional trees, is she, Rick?
Yeah, new tree there.
I thought those were the trees that were already previously above. She's just relocating them because that landscape buffer is no longer there to put those trees.
Oh, I see. Oh, yes. Okay.
think there's 4 trees, are getting relocated to different areas. So you get the same amount of trees, but not in your landscape buffer.
Yeah, the HVAC pad was put in the place of the landscape buffer.
And what is the adjoining business that this affects?
There's several businesses back there, not sure which.
Okay, there's multiple in that building behind you then?
Yes.
The building plans didn't have these HVAC pads? The original building plans?
No.
I don't believe so, but many times they don't show us exactly where they're going, because they don't know.
Would that be an accurate representation? When the building plans were submitted, you didn't know where the HVACs were gonna go?
Correct. At one time, the building was supposed to have the rooftop units on it, and that was changed before the course of construction.
Okay, so that's what ultimately caused the,
Yes.
were rooftop units unfeasible for some reason?
There was a complete interior change on it, which included changing part of the structure on the inside where the rooftop units were originally designed.
You mentioned the grade is part of the reason that those trees can't get there. Is that in relation to the retaining wall there that's being proposed?
Yes.
Okay.
So, if the variance is not granted, what is the option for you if the variance is not granted? What's your plan then?
Well, we would have to remove the concrete. From what I understand, we'd have to remove the concrete sidewalk in the back, and relocate the DC condensers. And then I'm not sure what we'll do with the grade difference there.
They're not
We'll have
able,
to engineer.
yeah, they're not able to achieve the 3 to 1. There's not enough space. That's why the proposed retaining wall is in place there.
And that was always part of the plan, as I recall, to have the retaining wall. They just, under, their civil likely didn't have the HVAC requirements given to them. It happens.
So ultimately what happened was the HVAC contractor and the civil engineer who drew up the plans weren't talking to one another. And so the HVAC contractor put pads down and HVACs on them that were not approved in the plans.
Right, and there's an architect in the middle that's usually part of that equation too, but just a lack of communication.
And you said that there is no other, there's no option. If we don't approve the variance, then nothing happens? They can't move forward with the project at all? They can't redesign something? Did I understand that's what you said, or?
Well, it sounds like the elevation difference is creating a big part of the headache there. Is that true?
Yeah, there's no elegant solution. There's no easy answer that I'm aware of.
Well, so I'm kind of stuck because in the past, we've always gone with looking at, was there a financial hardship on doing the project per code, right? And what we're having here is something presented that says, well, we don't know what we would have to do. We just came to you with, this is what we want to do.
Yeah. The reality here is that we went to do a final inspection and realized that there were decisions made during construction, and then we realized that when we went to out and make sure that it all was code compliant, built the way that it was said. And there was additional hardscape on the south side of the building, back side of the building, that didn't let the landscaping be installed the way it was planned. And that was the result of HVAC that wasn't accounted for on your site.
Were there any approved inspections along the way that should have got this or potentially could have?
There might have been building inspections, but we didn't do any site inspection. That's not a norm on a commercial site.
So would the HVAC have been inspected?
Yeah, the HVAC was inspected. However, with the disconnect between planning and the building division, planning is gonna go back and look at this building to make sure all of its landscaping and all that was done, but when the guy goes out to inspect the HVAC unit, simply what he's looking at, is it level? Is it connected right? Is it powered right? Is the lines running into the building correct? Not necessarily that it's been built up on a platform that he has no idea whether it was supposed to be there or not.
He's not checking, though, whether it was built according to the plans that were submitted and approved?
No, that would be your engineer of record. So the engineer of record is the engineer who drew the plans.
Okay.
Many times we'll be submitted during the building plan process, the requirements for the HVAC system, but not necessarily where the units themselves are gonna be located, unless they're going to be located on the roof. If they're gonna be located on the roof, then we have to have the engineered stamp plans that the roof is designed to carry the load of the rooftop units.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Mr. Kiklak, do you have any words of wisdom for a situation like this?
We bring all these ideas about why, something is unique or not unique, right? When in fact, everything is unique, right? You take it all into account. And so you try to think about the various directions that the code gives us, those elements. And, we have undue hardship, and circumstances unique to this property. We think about justice, right? Undue hardship and justice. And we do think about, will the action keep in spirit of the article, right? So I think the letter presentation that the engineer made by letter was, look, we really do want to keep in spirit with it. We've got landscaping, we just can't do it here because of this mistake. I will say this, it's not going to be much help, Mr. Clark, but I think that you have the elements, right? They're in the air. You can grab them out and pull them down. But I do think that we as this board, which is really, I think, really responsible of y'all, you're always trying to think about what have I done before? Can I think of a similar situation? And what did we do and kind of why? And so, because you do want to treat people fairly. That's what you're really out to do, is treat them fairly. And so if this were to get built like this, does it degrade the purposes of this particular code section, this landscaping section, so much so that, the neighboring people who use it and neighboring landowners are going to suffer for that? Or is it something that, we know that this problem is unique, it probably has, I've never heard this happening before. I bet y'all have, the engineers have before, where things get built in the wrong place, but I haven't heard it come up here very often. So I think you've got the elements, you just have to decide, based on what y'all do and what you think and what you've done before, is this something where that fits? We talk about money all the time. Mr. Fargrath, not part of, it doesn't appear anywhere in the code, it doesn't appear in state law, it doesn't appear in any of your guidelines. This is not about how much money it's gonna cost someone. You know, the undue hardship is all of it put together. The cost, the convenience, you know, people who are driving by, the other users, all that. It's not just, well, this cost them too much. You know, undue hardship, when you learn it academically, it really means, can I use the property? And that's the old ravine drops off in the back, so you can't do a setback, right? Because otherwise you couldn't use the property. So I tend to think of it like that as opposed to, you know, trying to redesign it for someone to save them some money. Sorry I went on to long, Commissioner Color, but
No, I appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Keklak. All right, any other questions?
And these HVAC pads take up the entire duration of that backside of it?
Not the entire duration, would be one half of it. The sidewalk isn't continued. So it'd be from this doorway to the middle of the building. There are no HVAC units there. It's all along the other side.
There's no room to put a tree there?
I'm sorry.
So there's no room to put a tree there? Or any kind of landscaping buffer? So if the HVAC units take up, you know, 2/3 or, you know, a third of the backside, what's the other third or 2/3?
There would be room.
There's a couple of egresses there too.
Okay.
There are some back doors that also have landings there.
Okay.
It's pads plus back doors plus,
What
The
other?
pads would have been there all along, right?
they should have,
They would have been required, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
since there's a pause, I'll fill that air. One more thing, Mr. Chairman, we often forget about the conditions aspect, right? As important as deciding about undue hardship and deciding about, you know, circumstances unique, is what conditions can this board apply to sort of try to meet the spirit, to try to, you know, ameliorate the thing that's gonna be missing. And it doesn't have to be something that someone's offered, right? It could be something that you say, well, we've made people do this thing before, we'd like you to do that. And then that's really up to the applicant if they wanna do that or not. So y'all can come up with conditions that you feel are reasonable and that would ameliorate or, you know, in some way assuage the property right now.
Now, if I'm understanding correctly already, you're not losing any trees, you're just relocating where they're gonna be planted, is that correct? Okay. So in a lot of ways, that kind of speaks to what Mr. Kiklak was saying. You're not asking to remove any of the trees that are gonna be planted, it's just, I can't really put them here now, let me put them somewhere else. So that's kind of what we're looking at. Approving this variance is saying, yes, put those trees elsewhere, just, we're not saying you can plant less trees. Anything else? Are you ready to do business with this?
No more questions, I'll make a motion to approve the variance.
All right, we have a motion properly made and seconded to approve the variance, to allow the landscaping to be relocated to a different place on the lot. So, roll call, please.
Frank Musivnik,
Yes.
Chase Hendricks,
Yes.
Brian Clark,
No.
James Walker,
Yes.
Tim Cox,
Yes.
Tony Kosarowski,
No.
Darren Brock.
Yes.
Motion's approved.
All right, thank you, sir. Yep. All right, that concludes the Board of Zoning Adjustments. We have no items of old business, no rulings of staff. I'll accept a motion to adjourn this meeting.
So moved.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, we will move directly into our Planning Commission meeting at 7 o'clock. Tim made the motion,
I second it.
and, yeah, Brian seconded it. Yeah.
Commissioner?
All right,
Darren?
I'm sorry, what?
Okay.
So, I'm a little stuck on when we can have a conversation to expand on what Mr. Kicklack just said. Because I have a tendency to always want to not reward bad behavior, right?
Okay.
And so what I was just told is that there's a lack of communication among the experts, and it's just bringing to us stuff like this. And so, yeah, I don't know.
Noted.
Yeah, I don't know what I want to say.
Well, we can consider that for further discussion at some point. All right, call to order. Roll call, please, for the planning commission. As soon as you're ready there,
Yes,
you're shifted over.
right. Okey dokey. James Walker,
Yes, here.
you're here. Brian Clark
Here.
and Frank Musivnik.
Here.
Tony Kosarowski,
Here.
Tim Cox,
Here.
Darren Brock,
Here.
and Chase Hendricks.
I am here.
We have quorum.
All right. You have the minutes of the previous planning commission meeting of October 6th. If there's no changes needing made, I'll accept a motion to approve those as written.
So moved.
Second.
All right, roll call, please.
James Walker.
Here.
Yes or no?
The minutes,
Approving the minutes.
minutes from last meeting, approving yes or no?
Yes.
Thank you. Tim Cox,
Yes.
Frank Musivnik,
Yes.
Darren Brock,
Yes.
Tony Kosarowski,
Yes.
Brian Clark,
Yes.
Chase Hendricks.
Yes.
Motion to approve the minutes of 10/6/25 are approved.
All right, at this time, we have our public forum. This is not a public hearing on any particular item. This is just a chance that we open up the microphone if you need to bring something to our attention that we're not aware of. So I'll open it up at 7:03. If anyone would like to speak in our public forum time, come on up to the microphone. All right, seeing none, we'll close that and move right on. We have no old business, but we have 4 items of new business, with at least 2 of them being a public hearing. So the first item is Dish Network, conditional use permit. So come right on up, give us your name and address, tell us what we're looking at tonight.
Hello, my name is Brent Axel. 1211 Federal Way is the address we're looking at to operate our satellite installation TV service company. Conditional use permits, what we're applying for, we've been in business at the location for 13 years. It's my understanding there was some lapses with the business license that I went to go renew this year as soon as I took ownership of the building, or took leadership of the building, and trying to make right on that with you guys.
All right, so this is the same location you've been at, but we had a lapse, and so for the business license, they've got to get the conditional use permit. All right. I'll turn it over to the commissioners.
Public hearing.
Sorry, what? Oh, public hearing, thank you, yes. Step back just a moment, please. Forgot, don't let, keep me straight, public hearing here, 7:04. If anyone would like to speak either for or against the granting of this conditional use permit, we'd love to get your thoughts. Come right on up. All right, anything received at City Hall on this? We will close the public hearing. Come right back up, please, sir. Thank you for keeping me straight on that.
Yes, sir.
We got one more of those coming up too, so. All right. Conditional use permit. So this is where you consider, is there any conditions that you feel should be applied, or any questions you have over whether or not to approve this permit in this location and zoning?
It's industrial zoning, it seems like fits to me.
Okay.
Nothing's changed, right, with the business? Y'all are still conducting the same business as before, you just realized that, okay.
All right. Any other thoughts, questions?
Make a motion we approve without any conditions.
I'll second.
All right. Roll call, please. Motion to approve without any conditions.
Okay. James Walker,
Yes.
Tim Cox,
Yes.
Frank Musivnik,
Yes.
Tony Kostarowski,
Yes.
Brian Clark,
Yes.
Chase Henricks.
Yes.
Darren Brock.
Yes.
Motion to approve Dish Network CUP approved.
All right. Our next item of business is Brian Lowry. Public hearing on this also. This is a conditional use permit as well at 512 Tumblewood Street. So come right on up, give us your name and address, and tell us what you're asking for this evening.
I'm Brian Lowry.
And I'm Melanie Lowry, and I'm the less shy one, so I get to do the talking tonight.
All right.
So we live at 512 Tumbleweed Street. We recently began farming large black pigs at a different location in Garvey. What we're asking for tonight is a conditional use permit to put a commercial grade freezer in our garage. No changes to the outside of the building, no real changes to traffic, but basically using that to store frozen meats that we would receive back from the butchering facility. And then we would sell online through our company website. And then when it comes to actually shipping the meat, we would be using a third-party meat provider that does frozen shipping. And we would be using our own personal vehicles to take the frozen meat in the prepackaged boxes to their drop-off location. So basically, we would like permission to plug in a freezer. But what questions might you have?
All right, well, before we get to all the questions from the commissioners, let me open this up to the public for a public hearing here, before I forget that. So if you would like to speak either for or against the granting of this conditional use permit to be able to store the frozen meat here as it's being sold online, come right on up, give us your name and address, and we'd love to hear your thoughts.
Hi, my name is Linda Vanoy. I live at 505 Ash Street in the subdivision there. And my question is really raised about how much meat are we talking about? Like 10,000 pounds of meat, 1, 2, 3, 4 cows? What is the freezer size? Is it going to need a fire suppression kind of system if anything happens? Because I'm assuming something will have to be upgraded with the electrical system to add a commercial size freezer. And what's the backup plan for power? Will there be a generator there? I mean, we have good electricity because I've lived there for over 15 years and I know how many times we've lost power, but it does happen in a residential area.
Sure.
And when it says they're getting a refrigerator truck that would it be stored in the driveway, or where is that truck going to be stored? Because even those trucks can be up to 12 to 16 feet long. And I am concerned that our residential road, even though I don't know that it's going to increase traffic that much, will it be increasing traffic? And say they sell online to someone who lives in Lowell, are they going to be able to come by the neighborhood to get it, or are they going to meet them somewhere else? Or are things like that is what this really is going to do? Because everything around it is residential. So it does concern me as to what we're opening it up to. If other neighbors want to start a similar distribution system within their own garage. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Lloyd. All right, anyone else like to speak? Come right on up, sir. Name and address, and then
My name's Eugene Hunley. I'm at 621 Prairie Street, one street over from where this is requested.
yes, sir.
I have the same exact questions as the young lady before me, but I also noticed in the permit writing, or in the request writing, that there was going to be a box van type truck, non-CDL size, and with the same concern, where is that truck going to be parked? Is it going to be parked there? But first and foremost, I'm concerned with opening up a small enclosed neighborhood to business of any kind. So my question to you and to all of us is this the opening of the Pandora box? Will this make it easier for other businesses or for this business to evolve into something besides just a small operation that's internet? Not a well as, of course, in their driveways. So those are my concerns.
All right.
With regard to that, so I'm not for it.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it.
All right, anyone else like to speak? All right, did we receive any comments at City Hall on this? Okay, we'll close the public hearing at 7:11. If you come back up, please, and I'll open up to commissioners so we can address questions, concerns, figure out is there any conditions that would need to be put on a permit if it's granted, et cetera.
City staff, so what's prompting the reason for the need for the conditional use is because it's a commercial grade freezer?
It's a use that's not listed in the schedule of uses under residential as storage and distribution. Basically, they're operating part of their business at the home.
So any residents wanting to operate a online business from their house would have to get a conditional use permit?
They would have to get a business license, and the business license, we look at the schedule of uses to make sure that use is approved in that zone.
Gotcha.
And if it is not, or if it's not listed, they're required to have a conditional use.
So the fact that this is meat is what's,
Or that's a business type, basically, regardless of what's sold.
It's a business use that's not listed in the schedule of uses. And one of the conditions that they're asking for is to store the meat at their home for that business. So it's a part of the conditional use permit for that business use.
Would it help also if I answered some of the questions that were shared? Because I really like the questions. They're all the same ones that I wanted to answer.
Well, certainly, we'll get to that, just make sure our commissioners feels his question was answered. Does that make that clear for you?
no.
No.
Right now, I'm in a bad
Well,
state.
let's suffice it to say, they need a conditional use permit in order to be able to operate this at their home.
This or any business at their home?
Any business.
Anything that would require a business license. And since they are storing meat and selling it online and have it from this location, this is their primary
Got it.
business. All right, please, I'll turn that over to answer some of those questions.
So they were really good questions, and thank you guys. Yes, there is already a generator in place. We did that because my husband has a CPAP machine. So for our own personal reasons, and just maintaining life when storms happen, we have a generator in place. The breaker box would not at all need to be altered. It's not going to pull any different power than if you were to plug in a personal freezer. This is a chest freezer we're talking about. What makes it commercial grade is that it is stainless steel and it has a display on the outside to tell the temperature so that you can monitor at any time if something is off with the freezer.
Right. So what quantity of meat are we proposing here?
It is a 72 cubic foot. We are talking at most 600 to 700 pounds at a time.
Okay, so one chest freezer, okay.
Correct. It is one, and it's not actually a chest freezer. We are looking at a stand-up, upright freezer that has multiple shelves so you can easily pull in and out.
Gotcha, okay.
And for context, we don't currently have any meat, but we have 3 pigs that will be ready for slaughter in another month. So that's why we're here now, is to request this permission before we get to slaughtering anything. Our entire herd is 17 hogs. We would like to grow that herd long term, but we cannot do so beyond 8 breeding sows is the most that we can have on the property that we're currently located on. So in order to grow the business beyond that capacity, we would actually have to purchase an entire new piece of property where we would then build facilities on that property. We're kind
Gotcha.
of limited to how much we have for our rental property right now for the farm.
Also, I'd like to point out our house has solar on it. It's actually an oversized solar unit that we just added onto because I have an electric vehicle. So the extra draw from the electric would be
on the event that we have meat coming from the slaughter location, which is gonna be starting out about every 2 to 3 months, based on as pigs get big enough to slaughter. And then long-term, it would be roughly every 6 months. There will be a gap in there because we've gotta wait on piglets to be born. Um, but roughly max, you'd be looking at 4 times a year. This truck would be coming in, and it's ballpark like a U-Haul truck. If someone had a moving truck, it's the same basic
It's
size.
actually a lot smaller than a moving truck.
Actually smaller than, yeah.
It's the size of a one-ton van.
Okay,
What was the make and model?
It's a GMC 3500 box truck.
okay. That's not gonna be stored at the home. It's gonna have its own,
It will never be stored at the house.
okay,
Contracted out through a third party.
sure. Okay.
Same with the shipping to customers, contracted out through a third party. If they're here local to Northwest Arkansas, something we've discussed is offering for us to deliver as opposed to the third party to deliver, but frankly, we live there and our kids live there, and I don't want the public coming in any more than my neighbors do.
We don't want it to be a place where people come to actually buy the meat.
No, we want it to be a place we can work on our laptops, maintain the website, and have the meat stored in the garage so that when we get a sale, we can then go make the drop off.
Okay. Is there any other questions you need answered, Commissioners? Got a good picture of what they're asking for.
I guess I have a quick question. You guys have to go through USDA inspection and all that kind of stuff for that?
Yes, actually, the butchering facility themselves are USDA licensed, so we won't be doing any packaging or prepping. It'll come frozen and already prepackaged.
Okay. So, if such permit were to be granted, are there conditions you feel need to be applied, since this is a conditional use permit?
I think like most other conditional use permits, we put a initial time frame on something new so that we have a chance to revisit it and address any concerns from the neighbors and things like that. If
Certainly.
all of a sudden business operations change drastically and what was presented is now different, so I would suggest some type of a term.
You proposing a?
Yes, probably something, 1 or 2 years, max 2 years initially, and then we can revisit it after that. That would be.
I would argue that with the only 2 public comments we've received from neighbors being those of concern, we might potentially look at a shorter time for the initial, like perhaps a 6-month time frame. If you told me that I came and spoke with concerns about this business, it got approved anyways, and then I have to deal with it for 12 to 24 months, that would be, as a citizen, I think.
Okay, so it's not uncommon with conditional use permits that we do, especially when it's something new, that we say, this permit's good for 6 months or a year, and you need to reapply then, just so we can address to say, have there been issues? So that's.
When did you say your first slaughter was?
Right now, it's scheduled for the second week of November.
Okay.
So a 6-month time frame would initially, as their timeline was, would get through 2 rounds of meat being received and sold. If you think that would be good, 6 months would be considered for this? Okay. What other conditions do you think?
Not to be used as a storefront.
Okay, so delivery only, pickup and delivery, no actual sales at the location, as far as pickup sales.
Yep.
I mean. So no pickup sales, delivery only. So we could put that as a condition on the permit, that there would not be customers there, just delivery only is sufficient, I think. Did we want to limit it to 1 commercial freezer? Or do you feel that's important? Or a poundage limit, or?
I think with their limited capacity to, I guess for lack of a better term, grow and, send through that process, I mean, they can't even have that many pigs on that land to really warrant 2 or 3 freezers, especially if they're already getting a big one. You said that was what, 72 cubic feet?
Yep.
And until piglets are born, total we have 9 new pigs. So this first round would be 3, and then we'd have 2 more waves of 3.
until you raise the next, yeah,
So, provided we make sales, we should never need that.
right.
And I do want to point out, this is only supposed to be temporary. Long-term, we don't want.
Long term, you want to grow to where you need a new
Correct.
facility
We
to
want
start with.
build on the
I understand.
Yeah, not this.
And that's all good and all good, but considering this permit, we, you know, we know future can change, so we're just looking at, right now, granting of this permit.
I think we should say no vehicles greater than 26-foot box truck.
Okay?
I understand
We
this.
don't have like semi trucks coming in the neighborhood.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, limit vehicles to, which basically be the U-Haul, largest size or smaller, to come pick up meat or drop off meat. So, don't want semi trucks driving through the neighborhoods. Okay? Any other thoughts?
The only other thing would be hours of
Hours of operation?
operation for the pickups and deliveries.
So they're not, got a truck pulling up with meat at 4 AM? What's your anticipation on hours that you would be?
And for drop-off would be between 8 and 5. During normal working hours, that's when the box truck would actually run.
And then for the shipping, we're gonna have the same constraint that our drop-off location is only open 8 to 5, so.
Okay, so 8 to 5 is not a problem for you if we said this is the hours of operation, there would be no trucks outside those hours or no?
Got
8
it.
to 5, okay?
8 to 5. Shall I read
Are we
them?
satisfied? Yes, let's hear a list of what we have.
Okay, we're gonna have 6 months duration, not to use as a storefront, no pickup sales, delivery only, no vehicle greater than a 26-foot box truck, hours of operation 8 AM to 5 PM only.
Okay, and then at 6 months, we can consider if things have gone well, we can extend the timeline or not put a timeline or whatever's needed. Or if we're concerned,
Is that a motion?
and that's just a reading of what we have.
Okay.
Just
So
read.
there's not been an official motion yet, but it's
I
saying.
think you're making one, James.
If you're making a motion, make sure you include the conditions, and those are the conditions that we have discussed at this point. If there's anything else that you feel needs to be added, this would be the time to bring it up. All right,
Okay.
would someone like to make a motion with these conditions?
I'll make a motion with those conditions, and if you hand me the paper, I'll read them all off, but.
That's okay, she can read them. She just read them, we can do with the
Yeah.
reading that was officially done there, so.
I'll make a motion to, with those conditions.
With the aforementioned conditions, there.
Correct.
Second?
All right, we have a motion probably made in second to approve the conditional use permit with the aforementioned conditions.
Exactly.
Roll call, please.
James Walker,
Yes.
Tim Cox,
Yes.
Frank Musivnik,
Yes.
Tony Kosarowski,
Yes.
Brian Clark,
Yes.
Chase Henricks,
I will abstain.
okay? And Darren Brock.
Yes.
A motion to approve the conditional use permit for sale and storage of frozen meats is approved.
All right. We'll see you in 6 months. Have fun there. All right, our next item of business, we're finished with the public hearings for the night. We have a large-scale development, James Moran. And someone up there, give us your name and address, tell us what we're looking at here.
Engineering, representing James Moran. It's for large-scale development, intersection of South Goat Springs Roads in Burrow Place, and that's as close as I can get as far as that is.
I understand.
So, anyway, we're here for approval for a large-scale development plan.
Now, was this the place that we had not too long ago, it's gonna be, where they selling like landscaping rocks or something?
That's correct.
Okay, I was making sure this is the property I was believing it was to be. So this is gonna be a building for like office,
That'd be the office building for sales,
Yeah.
parking out front for work, so clients,
Yeah.
just pick up and
okay,
landscape supplies.
all right.
On your name, is it Kevin or Jeff?
My name is Kevin.
Okay, I don't know why I put Jeff down. Thank you, Kevin.
So Darren, forgive me, this is the one with the sign? That had the site, or that had the sign height requirements that we were talking about? Or is this a different one? Huh? This is the same one with the pole
Yeah.
sign that we discussed?
Both sides,
Okay,
Yeah, this is that, yeah.
okay.
All right, questions? This is a a large-scale development looking for approval this evening.
I assume it meets all city codes and everything. City's okay with it?
It looks like all the comments were met, right?
Yeah.
Everything?
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, fine.
Looks all good.
Well, seeing that the comments are met, there's no variances, I move to approve.
I'll second.
All right, we've had a motion to approve the large-scale development. Roll call, please.
James Walker,
Yes.
Tim Cox,
Yes.
Frank Musivnik,
Yes.
Tony Kostarowski.
Yes.
Brian Clark,
Yes.
Chase Henricks.
Yes.
Darren, Brock.
Yes.
And this is motion to approve. James Moran, large-scale development is approved.
Thank you, sir. Okay, our last item, Ken Ark, the Diamond Realty Holdings, Parkside Townhomes. This is a revised phasing plan, so for the large, so they're looking to revise that. Name and address, let us know what's going on.
I'm Courtney Austin. I'm with Craft and Toll.
Okay,
This project is currently under construction. You approved the original phasing plan, and we're just asking to split phase one into two separate phases, phase 1A and phase 1B. The three townhomes on the north side of the project are moving a little bit faster than the clubhouse, so they want to finish that out and then focus on the clubhouse and then work their way south.
gotcha.
Be happy to answer any questions.
So this just allows you to get that part of it approved and ready to go. City approvals and all that good stuff if we break it out. Makes sense? Questions, commissioners? This one looks pretty clean, I
Are the
think.
streets affected by that decision?
It kind of improved fire access. We clarified which parts of the streets and we'll have loops for each phase as they go.
I know we have code in place that when a development is completed, they have to go back and make sure the road's right because of construction vehicles traveling on it. Would those naturally say that any roads in phase one that potentially were damaged by construction equipment would be fixed when the final phase is completed?
There's supposed to be fencing put up, so no construction vehicles are allowed within the fire access. North of, what is that, Erica? What road is that, Courtney? Erica, and then down Lily is that first road.
Yeah, we went and looked at it with the fire department. They have opened up a second access to the south
Mm-hmm.
through the Monroe Commons area at the south end. And it was agreed that the area that would be open for sales of those homes would not have construction traffic in it. They would have to start using the south entrance.
Okay.
But at the end of the second phase, is there an effort to go back and look to see if that actually did happen the way it was supposed to happen? I think that's what your question was.
Yeah, it was.
When we final a phase, we would not
You wouldn't go back?
go back and check it.
Ms. Austin, are these roads private or public?
Yeah, that's right. I remember that after I asked the question, that these are all private roads.
They're all private, it's all up to them to maintain.
It is up in the developer's interest to keep the roads maintained. He's selling each of these townhomes and he'll want a nice product to sell.
He's gonna maintain it.
The pool, the clubhouse and the pool area is far enough along now in its progression that really heavy equipment going in and out of that area of the development is
Not gonna happen?
Mhm.
Okay.
The building is done, the rough ends have been done.
It's just finishing work.
Really, I mean, a concrete truck maybe to pour a sidewalk, but nothing, no large equipment's gonna have to go in and out of there. It's all gonna come in from the south. And that was one of the things that they assured us, that the fencing system would be built across east and west so that people would know coming in from the north that may be looking at buying one of these, that this is construction construction, they'll go by here. And it would still be leaving us at least 3, if not 4 fire hydrants available for those first 3 units to protect them.
And that fencing will continuously move as phases go, so we didn't wanna draw like
Sure.
each fence off.
Okay. All right. Anything else, gentlemen?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
All right, second by Mr. Hendricks. Roll call, please.
Well, let's start with James Walker
Yes.
and Tim Cox,
Yes.
Frank Musivnik,
Yes.
Darren Brock,
Yes.
Tony Kosarowski,
Yes.
Brian Clark,
Yes.
Both of you, right?
both of you, Chase Hendricks.
Yes.
All right, we got all these men approving the James Moran large-scale development.
All right, thank you.
Stands approved.
Okay, our next meeting is scheduled for November 3rd. We're down to the November talk already now, so.
No kidding.
Whew. No discussions, committee reports, anything need to be, oh,
She stated Moran instead of McPherson.
oh,
Oh, you
did-
want me to change that?
yeah,
Oh,
Moran was
okay, I
the
see,
third one.
yeah.
And I know that time is not
I've got-
necessarily on our side this evening because it's late, but this is the first time that I remember all of us being here at the same time. Do we need to do anything special with this committee?
We do need to vote a co-chair, but we have not done yet.
Oh, there. All right, let's add to our agenda the election of a vice chairman, or whatever they're called in our minutes. So, I'm the lonely chairman. When I'm gone, somebody has to be elected. Would anyone like to nominate anyone to be the second in command here?
I believe Mr. Hendricks is filled in. I would nominate him unless he objects.
I'll accept.
Any other nominations?
I'll second that nomination.
All right.
What that's worth.
Well, with one given nominee, Mr. Hendricks here, let's do just a voice vote.
Yeah.
Who approved Mr. Hendricks as our co-chair, or vice chair?
Second,
Yay.
Aye.
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 who's gonna give the
Him
second?
second.
Oh, Mr. Cox second.
Oh, yeah.
No, Tim made the motion.
I made the motion.
Tony did.
Yeah.
Brian, I did.
Brian made the motion, I seconded it for what it was worth.
There you go.
It'd been
So,
January.
all opposed? Congratulations, Mr. Hendricks, you are,
You want me to reread that approval on C, D? No?
she had it written on the right thing, she just read the
I
top of the
just
page
read
instead of the
top of
second
to the
page.
second.
So, Darren,
You can officially state it if you like before we adjourn, but,
Officially stated, Conark has been approved.
You wanted before we adjourn?
yeah.
Okay.
all right, discussion, sir, yes.
So my comment was, we've got people coming up here for presenting variances that know nothing about what they're requesting,
Right.
right? I think two, definitely the one gentleman, he knew nothing about it, and I think the one before it or two before it. So I don't know what I mean by that, but that's frustrating, that we're taking our time to do this, and they're coming up here and they don't know anything about what they're, or they can't answer all of the questions. or
Right,
they
the
don't
person that was
have-
supposed to be here couldn't be here, so they sent someone else who
Right.
didn't really understand
Right,
what.
and my comment about rewarding bad behavior has nothing to do with the people in this room. It's that, and I didn't realize it, maybe I don't know why I didn't, but I didn't realize that one unit was already constructed. I thought we were looking at, like we were looking at before, where there's plans and now
Right, right.
they're realizing it. So, yeah, I really have a problem with, coming up and saying, oh, by the way, I forgot to add this in and you're gonna have to give me a variance for it now. 3 eggs too bad. You just go back and, demolish what you did and let's start over. But, and I think part of what Mr. Kicklock is saying also too is that we're looking at the spirit of what the city's trying to accomplish, right? So,
Right.
Initially, when I saw the streets, I thought that one multi-unit
Yeah.
was restaurants,
Oh,
right? So I was thinking, that, okay, bringing revenue into the city and all this stuff and, taking that into account of how the city's growing and stuff. But, yeah, it's just,
That is part of the overall bigger development. That bigger development does have all of the commercial that
Right.
we're talking about. This is just the multifamily aspect of that development.
I think to piggyback off of Tony's frustration is, why is this not getting figured out? at the front end. And then now we're deciding basically large-scale development.
Well, they have the right to come to you guys and ask for a variance.
Yeah.
It's at your discretion whether you approve it or not, and they're always told you
No.
have to put in the hardship. That's what variances are for.
We're
And they
officially
always
in
ask
the
for chances on it.
discussion part.
Yeah, I agree.
It's always 50-50. We can't determine how the planning commission's gonna go.
Yeah.
The problem is, we don't know whether a contractor said, I don't care about the code, I'm gonna put these here and go get a variance.
Yeah.
Or whether,
When they do the inspections or in the reviews, they do point out everything that doesn't meet code that needs to be revised.
Yeah, I know it's frustrating. I will comment that, in some of these situations where they get to the end and they discover something, I personally have benefited from that 30 years ago for this planning commission. The home I bought is in a cul-de-sac, and the builder, in order to line up the driveway good with the cul-de-sac, angled the house a little bit. Doesn't, it's exactly square to the road, it's angled a little bit, and that pushed the back corner of my house too close to the side setback. And they had to come get a variance, so they didn't have to destroy the toilet that's in that corner that was in the bathroom. It was just the back little corner of that bathroom where the commode was over that line. And when it got to this planning commission, that's the first experience I had with any city government, when I attended the meeting to see what was gonna happen. The planning commissioner asked, and they hashed it out, and he said, so it was an oops. He says, yes, it was an oops. And they approved it, because it wasn't intentional, he wasn't doing, he just, and so the intent of the setback is so we don't get too close to the neighbor, and the only reason was because they angled it because of the cul-de-sac, and, it was an oops. And so in the spirit of that, they granted the variance.
Of the two that were presented, the one where the construction wasn't done yet, it's a multi, family unit.
Right.
There,
That's not an oops because it's not built yet.
right, and that would be more of understanding what they're trying to do, what they're trying to accomplish, and everything's taken into a case, maybe approve that. But the other one, they could have just moved the air conditioner unit back to the roof, and the problem solved.
Depending on how your roof is built, if it's pitched, then.
But it was spec'd to be that way originally. That's what he said. It was, the air conditioning unit was supposed to be on the roof. That's the way everything was submitted. And then they decided, because of the layout of the building, which means the way they decided to do the interior, that's the way I read it, they decided to move the air conditioner to somewhere else. So, I don't know.
I don't know.
It kind of does not help us in keeping a consistent answer throughout the entire process, every process.
Right, right. And, but and trying to be fair, right?
Yeah.
Because that's the key thing is, why decline one and accept the other one? What's the.
Yeah, and I think Mr. Kicklake made a good point in the discussion, that talking about how, yes, we need there to be a unique reason why you give a variance, but then every project is unique in some ways, so we have to kind of consider the whole thing. So it's hard to say, well, this is gonna be the answer every time, just blanket, because there's always something unique that you gotta consider. So then, is that unique enough to say this isn't right for that person, that we should allow this variance? Or is it just, well, they really want to do it this way, so they ask for a variance?
What you guys are asking for is a cynicism meter. You want to know when someone walks up to that lectern, are they asking you in a cynical way, hey, I'm gonna get, like you just said, I don't wanna build it to that code because I can't make enough money.
Right.
So if you could just detect who's really got an oops, or who's just trying to get away with something.
Yeah.
But you can't.
You can't, yeah.
but even an oops, I've stopped saying it every time we vote because people are tired of hearing it, but I can't stress enough, we're bound by law under when we can and cannot approve a variance. And thankfully, it's Mr. Kicklack that gets to defend us if we pass that variance where they say we don't do a landscape buffer and their neighboring parcel brings a lawsuit against the city saying this never should have been granted, he gets to defend whether we made a right decision or not, but.
That's true, and I love that, but I would also say, go forward without fear, because the state law does provide them an appeal. All they have to do is file it within 30 days, get the record, file it with their complaint, and they get to go to a circuit judge and ask the circuit judge to second guess y'all, that's okay. You know, you're not costing anybody damages or anything like that. It's just, I don't agree with what they said. They did their best. I want to take this to a circuit judge. And I think if they have the right to do that, I don't think we should feel bad about that when the judge says, I don't agree, because it may be because the judge has something in their background where their commode did get, charged or something. Just don't ever know. But I would move without fear. I like the idea of sticking to the code, I really do, of looking at those criteria
Yeah.
every time, but I think you should, once you make a call, just make the best call.
Yeah, and I think, the intent of what these codes that we're varying is important too. When we look at that, okay, yeah, we don't want to put the landscape, but we still want to put the landscape in, we're just going to put it over here instead of where it goes. Is that okay? And if we think that's okay, they're still trying to meet the intent of having enough landscaping to meet the code. They just can't put exactly where, for whatever reason.
And
If
it
we
also
decide
helps.
it's okay, it's okay. If we
It
decide
helps
it's not.
when we get a feel from city, what your all thoughts are. If it's something out in left field and, we're not catching it, it helps us when we can see if you're behind it or not, so that we.
I guess primarily, if it's giving you a lot of heartache,
Yeah,
please
let
make
us
sure
know.
that's clear to us.
Give us, give us the high sign and we'll move forward in that direction.
Because unless there's something really going on, we're gonna back the city staff.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way I feel, this commission's gonna back the city staff, unless there's really some condition that we think, okay, you guys are just being unreasonable, or something on that. Because you guys are the experts we look to in a lot of these areas, you're the inspectors and the engineers, and you.
And we've also seen that people will come up here and either intentionally or unintentionally lie about what they've presented to city staff, what they've done, and.
Yeah, don't be afraid to bring any concerns to us, for sure, because, we're.
Anyway, sorry for taking more time.
That's okay. It's probably a conversation we needed to have, just so everyone feels good about the decisions we're making and can go forward with a clear conscience, so. All right, with that, I'll accept a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Tony, did you make the second?
Yes, he did. Oh.
Who made the second?
Chase.
He made the
James
motion.
jumped on it, and then Chase gave the second.
To adjourn?
Yeah.
You did it, so.
Yes, they were quick on that.
7:44.
7:44.
Thank you. Okay.
Well, that took longer than I expected.
Yeah, I know, me too.
But,
But that first hour was a
yeah,
burger.
that first one was a long time.
Yeah.
I don't mind it, in fact, that we had some good discussions.
Yeah, yeah.
People walk away feeling good about the meeting.
Yeah. But we
And
made
that's the way
that,
it works sometimes.
yeah,